Hey guys, how's it going? Louis Schaefer here, co-host of the Glorified Jobbers Wrestling Podcast and leader of Sup Nation. If you guys have been following our show for the past year, you know that we've been making our picks for pay-per-views and takeovers over the course of the year. Well, this weekend, WrestleMania, it's for all the marbles. But enough about us. We were graciously joined by a former guest on the show, Stephen Clark, and the rest of his podcast, the Sports Department Podcast. If you guys like what you see, check them out, give them a follow, and help support them. And as for us, we'll be coming to you guys on Saturday morning with our pick'em, where you'll see where we stand heading into what may very well decide it between Birch and Mike. But I don't know about you guys. After winning TakeOver Stand and Deliver, I think I'm feeling like playing spoiler a little bit. But enough about us. On to you guys. Under the Sports Department Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Hello, viewers and listeners of the Glorified Jobbers Wrestling Podcast. We are the Sports Department Podcast. I'm Stephen Clark. That's Justin Valentovic in the red shirt, and up there, or I don't know where he is on the screen if you're watching or listening, but that's Jesse Norman in the black shirt right there. And we are here to give our predictions on WrestleMania 37. I know this whole podcast is full of guests from your past that are predicting the WrestleMania card, and we're honored to be able to do this for you guys. So going to try to make it fun and exciting, and hopefully vice versa, we get a couple listeners out of this and we can do cross work again, and maybe we get Alec on our podcast, because Alec Roman is a good friend of all three of ours from back in college at William Patterson. I was honored to be on their podcast once already, and I'm honored to do it again. So this is exciting. But fellas, let's get right into the WrestleMania card. We're to start with night one, and we got Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. I'll start first going with this match. This match has to open the show, if you're asking me. It'd be a disservice not to have Banks and Belair main event WrestleMania. But I'm going to take Drew McIntyre to finally get his crowning moment in front of the fans and everybody at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it'd be a great way to open up the show, just because, we talked about it a little bit before recording, where, they haven't had a match in front of people for well over a year at this point. And to get the crowd hot and ready to go, give Drew his moment, because he's ultimately, I think, going to win. But what a way to start off the first match in well over a year with the WWE Championship. And Bobby Lashley, for all intents and purposes, he's been a transitional champion, but he's had a good run for the most part. And, they kind of look for the next big heel to have Drew get his coronation again, since Brock, thankfully, isn't around. And Bobby Lashley filled that role quite nicely.
Yeah. They took the belt off Drew to put it back on Drew. They already did it before. They're going to do it again. Give him his damn roses. Give him his coronation.
Finally, the fans can all start the show very, very happily. It's going to be a great way to start WrestleMania in front of the fans. Like we've just said, fans haven't been there in about 14 months now, so having fans there is going to be
I feel like because we mentioned about it opening so many times, it'll be the main event. Definitively the main event.
Yeah. They were teasing it on Raw that it's going to be the main event, and I'm like, no.
We know they're not going to have SmackDown main event both nights.
Hey, we've seen the main event. Remember when they didn't want to go against the presidential debate 4 years ago? They put whatever title match was on first, and then main event with the Intercontinental title. So they've done it before. The main event can open up.
Yeah,
it wasn't good the last time they did it, so hopefully they don't do that. But
you're right. You're 100% right. Both of you guys are right. But let's continue on with the card. And this is our sentimental main event. If it doesn't main event night one, this is the match everybody wants to main event. It would be history making, not just for the fact that it's the second main event in WrestleMania, women's main event in WrestleMania history, but it's two black females too. And that just does so much for the time to win right now, with all the racial injustice stuff and all the racism and everything going on in this world. That's a horrible thing. But this would just do so much to put a nice, bright, shining light on the black females of WWE. So we have Sasha Banks defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. And if I'm going to pick a winner here, they've been building Bianca up really, really well ever since her Royal Rumble win. And I'm going to take Bianca to win.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It should be Bianca, because, Sasha Banks is the only horsewoman on the card. And quite frankly, she's one of the best out of all four of them. The next two that would be on her level of, if you were to beat them at a Mania main event and get a belt off them, would be obviously Charlotte and Becky, but they are not there at the time. And Sasha Banks, she has an amazing resume, obviously. So that would only help Bianca get her to the next level, and maybe even higher down the road, potentially starting off with this match. I think it's going to be Belair, and she deserves it long time coming. Obviously, with the Royal Rumble win, they trust her enough to put her in this match. And quite frankly, the Rumble match doesn't necessarily win, but I think it correlates for this one. So I think she walks out with the belt.
Yeah. This is, you can make a star here in Bianca, and you have to capitalize on that. Sasha is my favorite wrestler in the company. That being said, she doesn't need the belt per se. She's had an incredible run with it so far. I think it's time to give it to Bianca. Hell, give Banks some time off. She's really been carrying.
She's been
carrying the women's division hard.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I want to just reiterate Justin's point really quickly. No other 4 horsemen women are on the card except for Sasha. That's crazy to think about. I know Becky's had the child. Charlotte has the COVID issues and Andrade thing that was going on. And Bayley's just not on the card in general, which is sad.
And if you think in retrospect, if you were to guess, who wouldn't be on the card, it would probably be Sasha, because she's been the one that's kind of more injury prone out of any of them.
And we'll get into the cluster, of a match later on that's thrown into it. And you couldn't have gotten Bayley somehow into that mix, but that's here nor there.
Mm-hmm. Bayley has no friends.
He could have teamed Bay Mella. They're best friends in real life, Bayley and Carmella.
Yeah.
That would have been phenomenal. And then another team in the Iconics, but that's another story for later in the card. But let's move on with this card. Don't want to hog up anyone else's time that's going to be on this podcast. So we're going to do our due diligence and then get out of here and continue with everybody else who's going to be doing their predictions. We have Grammy Award winning, most streamed artist on Spotify. The artist known us. We're most streamed on Spotify.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish too. We do have some international viewers, so that's something, like one dude in like Ireland or something.
Yeah, Ireland and like
Canada. I think there's another one. Sweet. Hello, people in Canada and Ireland.
International, baby.
International. Calls Mr. Worldwide, 305 Pitbull. Anyways, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest tagging up against The Miz and John Morrison. You guys can pick one first if you guys want.
It's simple. Celebrities don't lose when they come to WWE. Quite frankly, only one recently was Pat McAfee, but that's NXT, not main roster, so it doesn't count. Celebrities don't lose. Stephen Amell, Snooki, Lawrence Taylor, they just don't, because they would lose a lot more if they came in and lost. They would just look like an idiot. So it's going to be Bad Bunny and Priest.
Yeah, why would you have Bad Bunny come in and lose? You want the most streamed Spotify artist of 2020 to go in and lose to The Miz and John Morrison? Absolutely not.
Hey, those are future WWE Hall of Famers.
Also, I think a thing that hasn't been talked about enough, right? Damian Priest is going to get, like the rub from this match for being with Bad Bunny. They need to capitalize on Priest quickly because he's already kind of old.
He is. He's on the plus side of 30. I know. Is he in his 40s?
I think he's like 38 or 39.
Because
I could double check that, but he's older.
38.
Yeah, he's a little bit on the older side.
Yeah, I agree. But this is
a late bloomer.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
late bloomer. Anyways, this is doing
more
so
like
much.
A late boomer. God, that's awful.
Yeah, it's awful. You really don't want people to listen to our podcast off of this. Oh, wow. Anyways, this is great for Damian Priest. Getting not young, but young to the company, a guy on a big marquee match at WrestleMania is fantastic. I'm also taking Bad Bunny and Damian Priest to win this match. I think it's just a smart move here. And let's move on. Raw Tag Team Championships. We have the New Day defending their Raw Tag Team titles against AJ and Omos. This is Omos's in-ring debut. We've seen him with AJ for a while now, and this coalition of a team is finally getting a tag team title opportunity at Mania. This kind of reminds me of WrestleMania 29, Dolph Ziggler and Big E against Team Hell No, because that was Big E's in-ring debut for the main roster, and they actually came up short, and that's the way I'm going in this match too. I'm going with the New Day to retain their tag team titles here.
For many people that don't know, you're a big Kevin Owens fan. You tend to pick with your heart for his matches, so I'm going with AJ Styles mainly because I just love him so much, and it doesn't matter who he's with, quite frankly. I want him to win, so I think he'll win. Quite frankly, the New Day, when it's just 2/3 of them, not as entertaining. They're still good, but, to each his own. But Omos and AJ with the belt would be nice to see, just because AJ would have his muscle with him and they can do a little something with it. And this would be a nice prolonged feud after Mania too.
Are you a flat earther like AJ too?
No, I do not agree with any of his beliefs.
Give me AJ and Omos, because I think AJ is going to do like a 450 splash off Omos's shoulders. Something. They're gonna
hate
do
you.
something.
Phenomenal forearm off of him.
Jesse, just know I hate you right now. I hate you. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I hate you. All right, let's continue. Like we got through a lot of the big bulk of the better matches on night one.
Beef.
The beef. The Vince McMahon likes. He loves his beefy boys. But let's get into a not so beefy match, more of like a one-on-one match, a singles match at WrestleMania. Cesaro getting a one-on-one match at WrestleMania is huge for his career. I know he's been with the company for a long time now, but he's finally getting a chance to shine one-on-one at WrestleMania against one of the best they have in the company right now.
See,
which
you brought up a good point. This will help Cesaro a lot because he needs a big WrestleMania win, which means they won't give it to him. So it's going to be Seth, who doesn't need it at all whatsoever, who's going to just stick around and kind of just hover. Because right now he's not really doing anything because I guess dad life isn't really appealing to him since he hasn't really taken too much time off. But it's going to be Seth with his stupid suits.
Could you imagine being a toddler and your father is Seth Rollins rocking those dumb suits and
Curb stomp you to sleep.
Beautiful mother and Becky Lynch there, but man, what a father figure that is. I mean, I bet he's a good father. I'm just joking around here, but I mean, it's just funny to think that dude is a father of a child. The way he acts on television, character-wise, I bet he's a great dude in real life. Never met the guy, but man, that's just so funny to think.
You didn't pay your bank account for Meet Him at Access?
No, I didn't actually.
You guys know about Seth Rollins' bank account? It's big.
It's fat.
It's fat. He said that.
And he'll line it with another W at Mania.
Ooh, Jesse, who are you taking?
I don't think you can build Cesaro for this long and then not have him win. I say that, and then they could totally have him lose. Give me Cesaro. Like, come on, what does this win do for Seth? He's been at the top of the mountain before. He doesn't need this win over Cesaro.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Jesse. It's very reminiscent of last year's WrestleMania with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, that the whole story was going into that Mania match was Owens didn't have his WrestleMania moment, which was true at the time. But as we saw in the, whatever it was, not the Thunder, it was in the Performance Center last year for WrestleMania, that Owens had his Mania moment and finally beat Rollins. Rollins is turning into that guy where people defeat to get over in this company and eventually make stars out of themselves. So I'm sticking with you, Jesse. I think Cesaro does win this match too, and hopefully gets a mid card. And I can't even get the words out. I pray that he gets a world title shot or world title run in the very near future, but
he won't.
That's not up to us. That's not up to us to decide. It's really not. If it was, it'd be a way different company, and Aleister Black would be on the WrestleMania card. But he's nowhere to be seen either, which sucks because we all love him too.
Faded to black.
Fade to black. Let's continue down the card with two wrestlers, the best wrestler in the world at what he does, versus, like we talked about earlier, the big beefy boy. We have Shane McMahon, the brains versus the brawn.
I didn't know which one you were describing for which accolades.
Oh, you thought Shane? Shane is kind of ripped. If you ever see,
I thought you were saying Braun's the best in the world.
Oh, I mean, people have different opinions. If you think that, that's fine.
You're an idiot.
It's fine.
You're an idiot. Anyway, Shane McMahon, Braun Strowman steel cage match. I'll go first just for this one. I'm gonna take Braun in this one just because I feel like, you have the big dude in the steel cage. I feel like you can be an idiot though and throw Shane off the cage, and then like you said, Justin, idiots support idiots. So
and you are the dumbest. But Shane's jumping off the cage one way or another. We can agree he's flying off of that, either onto the ring and missing Strowman completely because he doesn't really hit things from great heights anymore, or he's getting thrown off and landing through the announce table. Now, that's probably a far throw, so more than likely he might get, say, maybe power slammed through the cage, but I think Strowman ends up screwing himself and Shane wins somehow.
Smart.
Not under his own power.
Smart.
Give me big beefy Braun.
Oh, baby.
I think Shane will do one stupid thing. Like, he'll get on top of the cage, could get out, and then he'll, like, jump back into, like, a coast-to-coast or something.
Yeah.
But my money's on Braun power slamming in the middle of the ring and hitting him.
Like Jesse, I know you said this on a couple of our wrestling recap podcasts in the past. This is the perfect match of both these guys. Get these two guys no one primarily cares about. Just get them out of the way here.
Just get them out of the way.
Get them out of the way.
Usually I would hate this match, but oh God, since there's two people in here that I just don't care about, yep, That's
Get him out
fine.
of the way.
Get
Is
him
this
out
your
of
piss
the
match
way.
of the show then?
Well, it might be that one.
I don't know. It might be entertaining enough.
It might be that match, but it also might be this next match, the last match I have for night one of WrestleMania here, as we're recording this on Tuesday, April 6th. So we don't know if there's going to be more matches added during the week or on SmackDown, but this match was added on Monday Night Raw this past week. It is a tag team turmoil match, and the winners face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on night 2 of WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. We got Naomi and Lana versus Mandy and Dana versus the Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina versus apparently Carmella and Billie Kay, but that wasn't on the website when I got there. But they were kind of involved in the whole scuffle on Monday Night Raw, so I would say they're involved just in case. I don't think anyone's picking them, so it doesn't matter. I'll go first here. This is rough.
They don't care.
They don't care. No, they don't. You can just tell they're struggling to get on the main show. There's no kickoff show. That's probably why this match is taking place to begin with. But if I had to pick one that has been built up over the last couple of weeks, I'm going with the old ladies on this one. I'm going with the vets, Natalya and Tamina. No one's meaner than Tamina. That's why she's going to be fighting on both nights of WrestleMania.
Give me Lana Naomi. They love giving Lana pay-per-view matches. They give her 2 in this one.
Oh, wow.
I think they go with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Just because they pick that's who they're picking the name out of the hat to decide the winner.
The blondes, you're right, Jesse. You have a great point in that one. The blondes, big old Vinnie Mac loves his blonde hair.
Loves
women.
his blondes. It's the only reason Lana's still in the company.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of like a slap in the face to Rusev too, in a way that she's still like in the company.
That's exactly what it is. They're sticking
making more money than he is, probably.
Exactly. Well, she's the breadwinner in the family. Anyways, this match could go either way. Like it's rough. It's very rough to predict this one, but that's night 1, and we're gonna jump right into night 2. And if you ask me, I don't know if you guys can attest to this. Night 2 blows night 1 out of the water by a long shot. Do you guys agree?
Oh, completely. I thought you were going to stop at below. Like, this is not bad. This is actually very good card. Yeah, all the matches are good. It's clear that rather than kind of do 2 separate shows, they kind of naturally built up through it being one prolonged show is a different approach what they kind of took.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is cool. I wonder if this is going to be the format for WrestleManias in the near future too.
Right now, the 2 other ones they only announced one night, but it's kind of like the NFL where if they add a 17th game, you're not going to go down to 16 games in a few years. Similar to with baseball, you're not going to get rid of the wild card round, even though it's albeit one game. You're never going to subtract games once they're added.
But if they do go back down, do they just go to a super longer show?
Yeah, I think so.
But see, here's the thing.
You can't
Jerry
start
World,
cutting matches.
But
like
see, the next
again.
the next 2 are Jerry World and SoFi Stadium. They could sell out and make a lot of money,
especially if they do it twice.
Yeah,
well, and then you can do premium packages where you go to both and you get like a whole week.
They're doing it this year. They're doing it this year.
You can sell Takeover too. Do Takeover 2 nights. Do that.
Hopefully by that time this time next year, the world is back to the normal where we can have full capacity. Well, the next one's in Jerry World, so they'll do it anyway.
Yeah, we saw how Globe Life Field was.
That just looks wrong on so many levels.
Insane. It looks like nothing happened over the last year.
Wow.
Insane. Seeing a full stadium in 2021.
But I think 2 nights stick around. But this night is very good. Very good.
Yeah, exactly. This night is good. And we're to start with a very, very hard match to predict. It's the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, in a triple threat match defending his title against Edge and newly added a couple weeks ago, Daniel Bryan. I'll start. This is rough. All these men had to retire for a little bit at one point. Roman due to leukemia, Edge and Bryan due to their injuries. So there's a really nice conclusion to, I feel like, to all their stories right here. They all get to be in the main event of WrestleMania night 2. Phenomenal. I was originally going with Edge for this match when it was a one-on-one match, and then the heel turn happened, and then Bryan gets added, and I'm like, Bryan's the only face in this match. I'm saying
there are too many options.
Yeah, you want to end WrestleMania night 2 with fans in Raymond James Stadium on a very happy note. So I'm going with WrestleMania Part 2, the sequel. I know the sequels aren't always as great as the originals, and this is going to be the case for this one. It's not going to feel as special, but I am going to go with Daniel Bryan to win the title here.
I agree with you, Clark, on the Edge thing. I was all for Edge when he was the face, when it was just a one-on-one. And then they added Bryan. I think that makes things obviously more complicated. But just to simplify it for myself, Roman has dominated since he's come back. The last time we got a winner who was a heel pretty much in that match that main evented, it was Roman Reigns. And this time he actually is heel when they had him as face last time. So give me the big dog.
Oh, baby, the big dog, head of the table.
Head of the table.
See,
Love it.
the
God,
storyline for all
why are the nicknames so much better now? The head
Oh,
of the
yeah.
table and tribal chief are so much cooler than the big dog.
See, I loved the
'Cause
big dog just
marketing.
because it was funny.
Well, because
I thought it was hilarious.
heel nicknames are so much better to come up with. They don't sound stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, I'm gonna be, why not go with Edge because
Ooh.
yeah, I could see Edge, his new shtick now from turning heel, turning on everybody, and wrecking Daniel Bryan is he will stop at nothing to get what he never lost, and that's the WWE World Universal Championship. The same thing, a big belt, basically.
Big belt.
So Edge is going to walk out of WrestleMania, and like you said, kind of on a high note, but it won't be a high note because he will kick everyone's ass, quite frankly, and it will just be carnage, I think. And Roman, I think he's going to take some time off. Now, I don't think he'll be completely obliterated. He might be the type of pose where he's like kind of looking in the corner where maybe he was just out of it. And I think Daniel Bryan eats the pin, but Edge is going to walk out with the belt for a bit. And then you're going to see Edge and Daniel Bryan go back and forth for a little bit until Roman comes back, I think.
That's very smart. All three of our predictions, honestly, they all could happen. It's a very, very much a toss-up, this match. I think it's very hard to predict. Honestly, we've been doing this podcast for almost a year now, and I would say we've been doing predictions for about a year too. This is the hardest match we all ever had to predict. So it's exciting. It's very exciting. I love when stuff's unpredictable like this and not just clear cut. You know who the winner is going into this match. It's very NXT-esque, if you ask me, because a lot of those matches on TakeOver were kind of hard to predict, and we tried our best. But anyways, let's move on in the night with the second match I have on our card, which is The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, returning all burnt face looking versus Randy Orton. Let me go with Jesse. Who are you going to take in this match?
Give me The Fiend. Giving Randy another win does not help whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, it hurts Fiend more because what's the point of him coming back as a burnt monster, that leveled up, supercharged, just to come back and lose to a mere man, Randy Orton, where quite frankly,
but he hears voices.
Yeah.
In his head.
Well, hopefully he doesn't see projections on the ring like last time they faced themselves at WrestleMania, which was awful with at least what they were trying to go with. So it just makes sense for The Fiend to win. Obviously, Bliss is going to be there. She'll be involved to some capacity. I'm intrigued to see if they do any special effects, because obviously, remember with the lighting rig falling, that was very easy to do a few takes on and edit into the match. So live crowd, a lot of things they can try. They can't really hide and edit away. So
that's a great point, because over the last year we've seen this they took to their advantage that there were no fans, and the cinematic matches with Cena and Strowman, and like you said, the special effects with the lights falling down, the black stuff in the mouth, the fire, him burning alive was of course pre-recorded and everything. Like, it was done ahead of time. You can't do that in front of a live crowd, and I really hope they have something in mind for this.
You just mentioned somebody, and I just realized this is the first time we're not going to get Cena
in years. Ever since probably he debuted.
Wow. What was that? He's been on everyone since 20, I believe.
To some capacity, yeah.
Maybe 20. To some capacity. He beat Big Show at 20, and then JBL at 21, and then through then he was at every single one.
Yeah, even I know WrestleMania 32 wasn't a match. He showed up with The Rock against the Wyatt family with the Rock Eric Rowan type thing. But wow, you're right. No Cena, looking like no Taker, no Triple H. A lot of our superstars we grew up with in the past as children are now going their own ways. That's crazy. We're getting old. Let's continue with the
Cena. Speak for yourself.
I miss Cena too. I mean, Justin, you're the oldest out of all of us.
Yeah.
Old man. Let's continue in the card. We got Raw Women's Champion Asuka defending against a newly called up Rhea Ripley. Justin, you can go first for this one.
Rhea gets the win she didn't have last year, and quite frankly, she was the pinch hitter effectively for Charlotte. But also for them to debut her before Mania and get right into the title picture and have a live performance of her theme, I don't think she's going to lose. She has plenty of backing. Yeah, it's going to be Rhea Ripley.
Give me Asuka, just cause. Why not? They had Rhea lose last year. I mean, whatever. Yeah, screw
As
it.
you know, Jesse, no one's ready for Asuka, right?
No
one's
one's
ready for Asuka, except for Rhea Ripley.
And Charlotte all those other times.
They've been building up Rhea phenomenally in NXT in her short tenure so far on the main roster. They brought her in as NXT champion last year, and she had a great match against Charlotte at WrestleMania last year. And the last couple weeks she's been on Raw, they've honestly been building her pretty high. They turned her heel. They're making her the big baddie on the Raw women's roster. And I think her dominance continues at WrestleMania. So I'm going to agree with Justin on this one and go with Rhea Ripley. We only have a couple more matches left, about 4 more matches in this show. Once again, like night one, we got through all the good matches. Now it's time. It starts slowing down a little. And
the filler matches a little bit more.
A little bit of the filler. All right, here we go. Big E defending his IC title, Intercontinental Championship, against Apollo Crews. This match was scheduled for a little bit, but we found out this past week, I think, honestly, it was announced on Raw, which is weird. It's going to be a Nigerian drum fight, so I don't know what to expect from this match.
In my one class of African civilization, that was a gen ed that I had to take at the William Patterson University of New Jersey. I don't know what this is, and quite frankly, no one does. It's kind of like Boneyard last year. We were just kind of guessing, and this is just going to be props. Lots and lots of props.
Yeah, I think so too. You're going to see some drums. There better be drums. The word drum is in the title. You're going to see drums.
Andre Drummond. Maybe he pops up.
Hope that.
He does. He's not in ring shape.
That's the real dribble fat.
He's
right
barely
there.
in NBA shape.
Yeah, no. Man, I guess we're gonna see drums at ringside. We're gonna see spears. I learned that word. There's gonna be spears. I'm guessing in the green and white Nigerian flag colors. A lot of that's gonna be themed around the ring. And if it's a themed match for a specific person, I'm taking Apollo Crews finally. I think he finally gets his crowning moment as a champion on the main roster.
Usually the themed matches for the person, they sometimes more than likely don't win. You know?
Yeah, remember when they had that Punjabi prison between Batista and...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I mean, who won that? I mean, that was clearly Batista's match.
Yeah, you know? Batista, It's the animal in the cage. It's his match.
I'm going to go with Big E.
Okay, Jesse?
Give me Apollo.
All right.
He's got to win eventually, right?
Eventually.
Sometime.
It's the 3rd time now, man. It's got to happen soon. Let's continue with the
He's giving
card.
him these title opportunities.
I know.
Adam Pearce is just like, whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Nobody else wants the title shot. Go ahead.
Drunk with power, Adam Pearce. Need to be under review with that. Let's continue. My favorite wrestler now in the company at the time, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul.
Pierce.
Oh yeah,
my favorite wrestler in the company, Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce. That's anyways, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Logan Paul at ringside. Aside from Logan Paul right now, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is phenomenal to have in this match at WrestleMania. The history these two have dating back all the way till they started training back in Canada, made their way throughout the U.S. and Ring of Honor and a bunch of other indie promotions, got basically signed to NXT almost the same time, got called up around the same time, have been in multiple matches we've seen. They're all really good. Like I said, Owens is my favorite wrestler on the roster. I met him 2 years ago today, which is actually crazy.
Oh,
I know. I miss him. I have my signed title right over there. Man, I'm going with my heart here. I'm going Kevin Owens to get the win.
I think you always throw these two together. It's going to be a good match. We've seen it the 30 plus times. It feels like at this point they've done it on main roster. So Sami Zayn never wins, and it's going to continue. It's going to be Kevin Owens just because he's better. And Sami Zayn's always a better loser than he is winner because everything's never his fault for losing. Yeah. So he can run with that a lot more. And Logan Paul is going to be there. He's obviously made his fame in vlogging and being on YouTube. And Sami's gimmick is wanted to be a wannabe YouTube vlogger, conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones-esque person. So I think Logan Paul gets involved and ultimately screws Sami. So it's going to be Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Sami's gimmick right now is losing. So I
think
he does it well. So I think he's going to lose.
Yeah, no. Owens around the table. Love to see that. Let's continue. We have 2 more matches on night 2. Then we're going to wrap up here. We got Matt Riddle. Or not Matt Riddle. My bad. My apologies. Riddle.
Idiot. Why would you add a name?
Oh, man. I don't know. It's almost like people are meant to have 2 names or something. Like one name. I don't know.
Cher.
Matt. I almost said it again.
Shakira.
Riddle. I mean.
Prince.
My God. Riddle. I got used to it, but I'm still not used to it. Riddle, who is
Ichiro.
US. Ichiro?
Yeah,
Okay. Riddle,
I can
who's
keep going.
Please don't.
Please don't. We have Riddle, who's the U.S. champion, defending against Sheamus, and Riddle's first WrestleMania here, up and coming, pretty young talent against an old vet. I'm going with the young guy here. I'm going with Riddle to get his nice first little WrestleMania moment, just to retain the title against Sheamus.
Yeah, Riddle's the young up and comer, like you said. Sheamus, what does a win do for him?
Nothing.
Give it to Riddle.
Jesse and Riddle have a lot of things in common. They both wear flip-flops a lot, so I'm going to go with Riddle.
You can put them on and you don't need socks.
Yeah, I love flip flops.
Flip flops are great.
Yeah, I know. Riddle and Jesse have a lot in common. Yeah, that's
I also have a scooter.
They have I knew there was something else.
Scooter with the flip-flops. You're just asking for your ankle to
you're
get.
kind of
Why
going
don't do those together?
No,
okay.
that's dangerous.
Justin told me he liked my man bun, so I need to get it back.
You do. That was great. We played our flag football game. That was funny.
Yeah.
I loved it. And you're growing out the hair again. I can see. That's cool.
It's pretty close to man bun again. I might be able to do it within a couple weeks.
There you go. So you're basically Matt Riddle 2.0. Anyways, our last match of the night, Justin's favorite wrestler here. I don't care what he said about AJ Styles earlier. That's not his favorite wrestler. His favorite is
So
the hole of
stupid.
Nia Jax. He loves that hole.
Can we start calling Nia Jax the whole effing show?
The whole effing show. That's great. I love that.
I hate
Anyways,
this.
Nia and Shayna
I
are
hate
defending
this.
their women's
I hate
tag team
this.
titles against the winners.
Can they
of-
just cancel this match and not like bring it up ever again? Like they've just
Can
done in the
Nia
past?
induct RVD? Please.
That's happening tonight as we're recording this. I hope it's Riddle inducting him. It's not going to be Riddle. It's probably going to be Heyman, but that'd be fun.
What's that even on?
Peacock.
Peacock.
In about
So
20
I'm
minutes
not,
from
so I'm
now.
not watching. Okay. It's gonna be Nia to win this and Shayna because they don't care about switching titles with
Yeah.
this belt. They don't care
I
about the
agree.
belt. So why
Yeah.
put thought into
Baszler
it?
Jax. I've picked Baszler Jax to lose these belts so many times, and
It
they never
backfired
do.
so much. I
They
know.
never do. So just keep them. I don't care. I'm done. It doesn't matter to
Yeah,
me.
I agree. I think they just keep them. They have nothing in plan. I can see them losing the titles on a random Raw or SmackDown if an NXT team gets called up eventually. But man,
Also, bravo WWE for breaking up the Iconics and then never doing a single thing with that. Not once. You had a whole tag team division, and they were the best tag team, and you broke them up, and you didn't do anything. So,
sadly.
congrats on that.
Yeah. Ending on a somber note there. It's kind of sad. I miss
That's
the Iconics.
WrestleMania.
But it's WrestleMania. There you go, Justin. Way to bring the mood back up. I love it. WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I'm the joyful one.
Yeah, that's a shock. WrestleMania 37, night 1 and night 2. Those are our predictions right there, fellas. It'll be a great show, I think. I'm really looking forward to this. Fans in the arena, like we said, Raymond James Stadium's going to be loud. There's going to be 2 pirate ships. They're building another pirate ship, so can't complain about that. The more ship, the better. But I want to thank the Glorified Jobbers Wrestling Podcast again for having us on. If you guys want to start listening to us, don't forget to listen to them too. But if you guys want to listen to us, you guys can always find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow our socials at Sports Depth Pod. That's Sports DEPT Pod. We appreciate this opportunity to come on this podcast. Thank you, and we'll see you in the future, guys.